how's it going? So, standing in front of the Pontiac and getting ready to finally get the motor out. Had a lot of things going on inside the house. Got kids, my dad, a lot of things going on. So, I haven't had time, I literally have not had time to actually get this thing out. Now, the plan is that the last Monday in February, I'm going to start live streaming the actual removal of the motor for the Grand Prix, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a camera somewhere off into the corner somewhere, and I'm just going to keep it on a continuous record every single Monday, okay? From about 8:30 a.m. until about maybe 3 o'clock or so p.m., okay? Now, the live stream will stay on YouTube, obviously, so you'll be able to go back and watch it. I'm not going to annotate it. I'm not going to set time codes or anything else like that. It's just going to be a freestanding live stream. So you can kind of see as I progress through this how it's going to work. So I've been getting a lot of questions, obviously, ever since I first announced that I was going to be doing this for the third time. Been getting a lot of questions, so I'll try to answer those now. And hopefully I will be all set to actually get this thing out. So first of all, why am I actually doing this? Well, this is the third time, and the first two times was because of the transmission. I had the transmission rebuilt. There was a problem the first time around with the actual transmission, which did end up getting fixed by the shop, which was great. And so I had to pull it out for the second time to take the transmission back down to them. They fixed it and got the motor back in. Everything was fine. This time, a rock went through my oil filter, and I was on the highway. I ended up losing all oil pressure just as I was literally pulling in, and unfortunately, it ended up killing a lifter. Now, I was able to recover the lifter. I got to give props for these lifters. I mean, they've been through a lot. This would be the second time that I've had a lifter get stuck, basically. And it's come back to life. So, you guys who follow me know that I went back and forth with this thing. I had some different problems and whatever. Well, there's a severe miss on two of the cylinders. Number 7 and I believe number 4 or number 3. I can't remember which two, but I know 7 was one of them. So, I did a compression test, and there's very low compression on those two cylinders. So basically there's a lot of blow-by, and it's just not running right, okay? You start it up, it sounds like it's running okay, but then when it runs at low RPM, the compression the compression is bad, but it's way more noticeable at idle, low RPM, and the computer seems to think that there is an actual dead two cylinders, CEL flashes, whatever. So the insurance company actually did give me a payoff for it because it was covered. Thankfully, it was covered. And so I have a master rebuild kit for the LS4. I will not be doing the rebuilding, okay? I consider myself to be fairly mechanically inclined, but there's certain things that I just don't feel like I want to tackle. For one, I don't want to tear apart a transmission and try to rebuild it. For number 2, I don't want to try and tear apart a motor and rebuild it. It's just one of those things where you get it all back together, you don't do something right, whatever can happen, and it's just like, okay, where do I start? So I'm having a reputable engine builder actually tear down the block. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the block and heads. I'm going to remove the intake, obviously the injectors, everything else, the accessories, those are all going, and then I'm going to take the block and heads down to the shop. They are going to tear it apart. They're going to hone the block. They're going to basically make the block brand new. They're going to rebuild it. New pistons, obviously new rings. That's a master rebuild kit, so it comes with the pistons, rings, rods, and the timing set, new lifters, obviously, new lifters, and the gaskets and so on, the odds and ends. They're obviously going to inspect the crank to see how well it's because this has got 170,000 miles on it. So if there's any major scoring or anything else like that, obviously I'm going to have to invest some more money in a new crank or whatever like that, but I don't anticipate those problems. Maybe, possibly, because I had low oil pressure, there might be an issue, but again, I don't anticipate those problems. So they're also going to rebuild the heads. I basically took all the money that the insurance company gave me and paid for all the parts and the labor to do the job. I'm going to be pulling the motor out. I'm going to be taking it down to them. They're going to be doing all the work on it. They're going to rebuild the heads, as I said, rebuild the block, and then I will put the rest of it back together, okay? So there's been a couple of questions as far as, am I going to do a physical DOD delete? Well, it all comes down to money. Obviously, a new cam is required. You need a new valley. Obviously, the new lifters. Already, displacement on demand is going to be deactivated no matter what. Before I fire this thing back up, there's a guy local. He's actually on the LS4 Nation Facebook group. Hopefully by then he will be able to tune this out for me, as well as tune the transmission, because I have not had the transmission tuned since I had it rebuilt. So I'm basically going to have him, basically reprogram it so that the DOD is gone, as well as he's going to fine tune the transmission for me, and probably make some other minor adjustments, okay? So at the same time, because I have a little bit of time to think about this, I was thinking about possibly, depending on if there's money left over or not, I was also thinking about possibly getting some headers and going with a full 3-inch exhaust all the way back, okay? Again, it comes down to money. The motor is going to be out. It'll be super easy to install the headers with the motor out, okay? So that would be the time to do it. Also looking at possibly new steering, although I don't think I need it. There is a problem with the Magna-Steer. With the motor out, it's super easy to change. It's right there. You know, you don't have any anything in the way. It's real easy to get to. So I haven't decided if I'm going to do that or not. There's a lot of things that I can do that I have the perfect opportunity to do. It all comes down to money. It's just money. How much money do I want to put into this? And that's basically it. That's what it comes down to. So with the money that I got from the settlement, it paid for the master rebuild kit and the labor to rebuild the actual motor, and a few extra little things that I can do, like the oil pump. I do have a new oil pump for it. So yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to, is money. So the first thing I obviously have to do is I have to get it out. Now, the first time I did this, it took me all season to do, and the reason is because a lot of it I didn't have the right tools, so I had to buy tools as I was going along. It was a learning process. One of the axles got stuck in the hub, so I had issues with that. I had to have the same shop, actually. I had to have them torch it out. I knew that I was going to lose the wheel bearing. I needed a new one anyway, so I didn't care about that. But I wanted to save the knuckle, so I needed a new axle, and as well as a wheel hub, wheel bearing, whatever. So I'm not anticipating any of those problems this time around. And the reason is because all this stuff is basically fresh. Okay, it was April of last year when I got this all put back together and I had this back on the road. It's been less than a year, and I've probably put about maybe 3,000 miles on it since then. So I'm not anticipating, axles getting stuck in the hubs and none of that stuff. And so it's probably going to take me about 2 days. If I didn't worry about any videos or anything, it'll take me about 2 days to get this out, okay? But I'm going to be doing videos at the same time. There's a lot of people who are asking me about how to do this, how to do that, what should I do here, what should I do there. And I've got about 10 hours or more of footage of the last time that I ended up taking this out. And I tried to edit it. Because there were parts that I forgot. Like sometimes I forgot to hit the record button, as weird as that sounds. Or the orientation of my phone that I was using at the time was off, so the picture was all sideways. And there were things that I was in such a hurry to try to get everything done that I didn't even, I made a lot of mistakes as far as that goes. So now I'm going to take more time from a production standpoint, going from start to finish. The first bolt that I take off all the way to it being out, and on an engine stand. Okay, so it's with the live stream going on, you guys are gonna see all kinds of weird stuff. I'm probably gonna get sockets wrong, or I'll mess something up, or whatever. It's bound to happen. Nothing ever works perfectly. Okay, so you'll see all that on my videos. I can edit all that out and the swearing and things like that, so that's not a big deal. But obviously on the live stream, that's not gonna happen. So I may stand here, like thinking about something or whatever. You guys are going to be seeing this. Nothing I can do about it. But of course, obviously in the videos that I make, you're not going to see that. So, obviously, getting it out, top priority. And I will do videos along the way. So, I don't anticipate any serious issues with this. And I would really, there are no start to finish LS4 removal videos on YouTube. There's none. Okay, and I'm going to be doing it out the top. You guys who've followed me know that the last time that I did this, I took the motor and transmission right out the top. Okay, it's intended that you go out the bottom. All right, you drop the cradle, you disconnect the steering, you disconnect all the accessories, you evacuate the AC, etc., etc., etc. You drop the motor out the top, or out the bottom, and you lift the body up. And a lot of times, shops, what they do is they get the car way up in the air, then they disconnect everything they need to disconnect, and then they use a lowering jack, and they just lower the whole thing down. Okay, that's one way to do it. The way that I did it last time, twice, right out the top. Believe it or not, to me, it seems a lot easier to go out the top. You don't have to worry about the steering. You don't have to worry about the AC. There's a lot of things you don't have to worry about. Plus, most of what's on the motor can actually stay on the motor, which is great. So, in my opinion, going out the top is easier, but you need the tools. You need an engine hoist and those kind of things. So, I've seen the debate, especially on the LS4 Nation. There's guys who are like, "Oh, that's stupid. Don't go out the top." And then there's guys who are like, "Well, yeah, but you can go out the top. It's just as easy." It's to each their own. I'm going to go out the top. This is how I'm going to do it. You can follow along with me if you want to do it that way. If you need to do it that way, fine. If you want to do it the other way, get the GM Tech Manual out. Get the 106 steps that you need in order to get it out the bottom and have fun, okay? Basically, that's it. And I know there's some of you, you warriors out there who are like, well, I do it in my apartment complex, shared parking in 2 hours, and I've got the whole motor, whatever. I don't care, okay? I've seen the comments. I know what everybody thinks. There's always an expert out there who is like, yeah, but if you do it like this, fine, whatever. I don't care, okay? This is how I'm going to do it. If you like it, great. If you don't, go watch something else. Yeah, it's as simple as that. I'm not going to give you the time of day to basically try to argue with you about what's better, what's not better. This is how I'm doing it. Deal with it. Okay, so as I said, the last Monday in February, which I believe is the 26th, maybe 22nd, 26th, something like that. That's when I'm going to be starting. I have a garage heater, although we are seeing some warmth right now here in the middle of February, but I do have a garage heater. I was waiting on that, a propane heater, so keep the garage nice and warm. And I've got my studio lights out here. I've got my microphone. I'm probably going to record most of it from a lapel mic because I will be in here in certain spots and I can't exactly bring the microphone down and be like, hey, talking like that, trying to get into the mic. Because these shotgun mics actually work better when you're actually facing them. There's actually one up there that's directly facing me. So I'll probably have a lapel mic on, things like that, okay? So that's basically it. I'm actually looking forward to this. I enjoyed taking it out, I think, more the second time around because I knew exactly what I was doing from start to finish. And the first time around, there was a lot of anxiety about what could go wrong. How do I do this? How do I do that? I'm looking forward to it. I've just been so busy with other things, and I've been fortunate to have my dad's Jeep to be able to drive that, I've been able to keep this in the garage. I took it around the block a couple of times, and of course it's no better, but it still drives. And so I'm anxious to get it out, get it to the shop, get it rebuilt, get it back in, put it back together. Again, you're not going to see the rebuild, okay? You're just going to see me pulling this thing out. I may do things like spark plugs or whatever, but you know, it is what I can provide basically. So, all right. Kind of talked enough, I guess, on the subject. Be looking forward to it. Again, I'm looking forward to it, and you can follow along if you want. If you want to wait until it's all done, that's fine. But I will set up the live stream. I'm hoping that in 2 or 3 live streams, so 2 or 3 Mondays, I'll be done and I'll have it all out. Of course, I'm going to do the reverse. I'm going to put it back in. I'll get it all on camera, the step-by-step. Obviously, the step-by-step is going to require that, hey, this is how you get it back in, okay? So, a couple more things. There are some things like I added a transmission cooler from Triple Edge. It's the Max 1 cooler. So there's going to be a few things that are different from the stock, but you'll get the idea. I'll make notes about that along the way as far as what changed or what possibly might have changed or whatever else like that. So there are going to be some differences versus a stock setup, okay? I'd also like to be able to do a fender well intake. I'm going to kind of look into that and see what's all about with that. And kind of go from there, I guess. Ding, ding. So, alright, guys. Well, that's pretty much it. Be looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, stay tuned. Again, if you have any questions, I do follow the comments. If you have any questions, you have any requests, if there's anything else you need done, I'm going to be ignoring the interior. So, it's going to be all out here under the hood, getting this motor out. So, I'm going to be ignoring the interior completely. So, don't ask me to do, like, you know, seats or something like that, because that's not what I'm going to be focusing on for the next month, okay? So, yeah, if you have any other questions, just let me know, and, well, we'll see you soon. Take care.